Welcome to episode 84 of Central Intelligence Cinema. Today we are back with a brand new intel report for you, covering the latest spy TV, film, and book intel. Just one note in advance, we did have some audio issues during this recording, which have been reduced as much as possible. Occasionally, these things just happen, but we do apologize. But for now, let's get into it, shall we? Take it away, Pierce.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
Welcome to the CIC, initiating security clearance.
My name is Napoleon Solo. Bond. James Bond.
Natasha Romanoff.
Ethan Hunt.
Felix Leiter.
Elsa Faust. Identity confirmed.
Now, pay attention, 007.
Welcome to Central Intelligence Cinema, a podcast dedicated to spy movies and secret agent pop culture.
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Do you expect me to talk?
I'm in the middle of an interrogation. This moron is giving me everything.
Yeah, baby!
Special agent, you're not having a very special day, are you?
But remember, nothing ever goes according to plan.
Tom, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir. The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Recording from an undisclosed location, it's the Central Intelligence Cinema Podcast. I'm Jason Greenberg, and with me, as always, is Ben Esslinger.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you, Jason. And welcome back to the CIC, the spy movie podcast, currently binge watching all 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders. Jason, how we doing, buddy?
Doing all right. I just want to say to all of our tens of listeners that Ben is not watching all 6 seasons of Peaky Blinders. I think he's making that up.
I started the first one. For the record, I did. So there's that. I don't know if I'll get through all 6 seasons.
I got through 3 episodes of season 1, and my wife was like, yeah, I'm out. But I mean, and it's good. It's really, really good.
It is good.
I'm not going to say it's not good, but she was like, nope, I think I've had enough of English gangsters for a little while. I'm like, what's anything about English gangsters? Saturation level. I digress.
Yes. But yeah, today we are back with a little bit of intel, bit of discussion. And Jason, we've got shout outs, and the CIC mailbag is back.
Outstanding.
So yeah, we got some shout outs. Shout outs. Haven't done my improv shout outs bumper in a little while.
We just really need to make a shout outs bumper.
We really do. We really do. I promise.
Here's what I suggest. I think we
Okay.
need to get the voice. I think we need to get the voice of the CIC to do shout outs, but just like you're doing it, because I would love to hear her do that.
I don't know if I could convince her to do that, but I'll give it my best try. In her best falsetto.
Exactly.
But shout outs, first of all, goes out to the UK, just in general. The UK in general, you guys have been lighting it up in our numbers. It's kind of crazy that people are listening so much over there, but thank you. It's kind of a point of pride for me that folks over there are actually digging our stuff at all.
It's that word of mouth, you know. It's the word of mouth.
Exactly. Also, weirdly enough, shout out to Texas, or perhaps howdy. A lot of people from Texas listening recently. It's interesting. And then finally, I can't forget about shout out to the Netherlands. My freaky deaky Dutch brethren are out there listening to us as well. So that always makes me happy.
Any of folks out there in the Netherlands, give us a shout if you want. We'd love to know what it is about the podcast that you find so appealing.
Yes, absolutely. Please do. And speaking about getting in touch with us, we have the CIC mailbag.
Yay!
Yay! We've got our latest field report from our good man C. He's back, reliably keeping us on our toes when it comes to pronunciation and general pedantry. So that's exciting. But C writes, gentlemen, forgive my comparative silence of late, but I've been helping eliminate all free radicals. Followed by a few weeks R&R in... Okay, so then he listed this town, which is in Wales, and he says it's lovely at this time of year. I'm not going to try and pronounce this. I know what he's doing here. This is just his way of trying to get me to mispronounce things. Instead, I will default to the pronunciation given in a video from the British Embassy in Vienna.
I was just going to pronounce it supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That sounds good to me. I mean, see, would you care to Does that sound? I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, C continues. I'm surely not the only one to point this out, but Jacob Elordi is Australian. Decent actor from what I've seen, but he doesn't have a modern face. He's more Mr. Darcy or Duke of Wellington. Little Nicky Holt would be my choice.
Mine too.
Yes, absolutely. He's got a good Bondian look, and he has the acting chops to be a nicely rounded 007. Problems are, I'm not sure he'd be interested. He seems to like a variety in career, which is going well without Bond. And 2, Holt would make me feel ancient. He's the kid from About a Boy, for Pete's sake, which is true.
I mean, you could have a similar problem with Tom Holland if you're going to go that far back.
No kidding. Oh, boy. I'm not even going to get into my beef with the whole Tom Holland as Bond thing, because that's just going to take us down a downward spiral, and I don't want to go there. I'm trying to stay positive today, Jason. Anyway, C continues. Regarding Simon Pegg as a villain, there's an episode of the British sitcom Black Books in which he guest stars as a comically villainous bookshop manager. He can do the sinister when he wants. If you haven't already, check out another sitcom called Spaced. It's delightfully UK in the 90s. And it's where it all really started for Peg, Frost, and Edgar Wright. If you like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, you'll like Spaced. I have watched Spaced, and I really like that
Same
show.
here. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good
pretty
show.
Good. It's pretty good. I mean, it's no Red Dwarf, but it's pretty good.
And then he continues, also real-world spy news, the Secret Intelligence Service, a.k.a. MI6, has a new chief, a.k.a. C, its first female leader. So, only 30 years behind Bond then. Her name is Blaze, which delights me without end. Wonder if she ever secreted small weapons in her hair. As usual, keep it up, chaps. Yours, C. P.S. Villeneuve rhymes with pill nerve, or at least that's how they used to pronounce it on the Formula One coverage. So apparently it's Villeneuve, allegedly. So, yeah, I mean, he says Villeneuve. I feel like it's Villeneuve.
Well,
I don't know. Jason, thoughts?
Yeah, so knowing that this was coming, having perused the wonderful notes that you give me before each and every podcast, I decided to go and do a little investigation, because I do recall at some point in time seeing a video where Denis Villeneuve had... actually, someone asked him how to properly pronounce his last name. So yeah. I went on a deep dive. I couldn't find the video, so it's entirely possible it was a fever dream that I was having. However, I did find a clip from a French Canadian pronouncing Denis Villeneuve properly as a French Canadian.
Excellent. Let's hear that right now.
We are looking at how to pronounce with the typical French Canadian or French pronunciation, Denis Villeneuve. Do not pronounce the S to Denis, it is silent in French. Do not say Denis, but rather Denis Villeneuve.
Okay, so a little different. There's no R in there. It's
but I could see
Denis Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. I could see where C might have heard an R.
Well, and I'm sure that, listen, I watch a lot of international football, and they pronounce people's names wrong all the time on that. So I imagine that he might have heard someone mispronounce his name slightly.
Anything's possible. And then you also have to take into account that French Canadians are much different than French people in general.
That's true. That's very true.
They've got a little bit of Americanization going over there, even though not one of them would actually admit to doing it. But
perhaps for the purposes of this episode, going forward, anytime either one of us says Villeneuve, I shall replace it with
Villeneuve.
And then, and then it's fine. Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
And then he continues and he says, and Jason, are you secretly a closet Canuck?
Eh?
Were you one of the kids in the hall?
Maybe.
Were you in the Fur Trapper sketch?
No.
Because your way with a Quebecois accent sounds awfully familiar.
Well, you watch enough hockey and eventually, especially enough hockey goalies.
Yes.
You just sort of pick it up as you go along, eh?
Yeah, indeed. I actually, after reading this, I actually went and watched the Fur Trapper sketch, and I know exactly why he chose that sketch. Because there was something that you said in that voice, in that exact voice, in one of our previous episodes. I don't remember which one, but it's dead on the same voice. Excellent.
So does that mean that they sound like me and mine is accurate, or I sound like them and theirs is accurate?
I think they sound like you.
Okay, good. Good. I agree.
But that's all we have in the mailbag for now. But hey, tens of listeners, please don't hesitate to interact with the podcast. We'd love to read something you sent us in a future Intel report. Our email is cicdeaddrop@gmail.com. On Instagram, we're Central Intelligence Cinema, separated by underscores. And on Blue Sky, it's cicspypod.bsky.social. And there's a whole slew of other socials we're on. And you can find the links to all of them at the bottom of the show description of this and every episode we put out.
Remember, it's a slew. It's a slew of other options.
A slew?
We aren't just putting out a trail or a bunch or a group. We are giving you a slew of communication options.
Dare I say a cornucopia? I don't know, but I'll go with slew.
But only around the holiday.
That's right. Only when I'm feeling festive. But all right, Jason, should we get into some intel?
We absolutely should.
Looking for a news story?
Impress me. Transmitting CIC Intel dossier.
They'll print anything these days.
All right, so Intel, we'll kick it off here with some TV stuff. More Slow Horses stuff. The production just keeps on trucking, man. We've got season 5 of Slow Horses coming September 24th to Apple TV Plus, but it's also been revealed now that they are currently shooting season 6 and it's been greenlit for season 7. So huzzah for fans of Slow Horses. More Gary Oldman.
I was going to say, I think this just means they don't want Gary to retire.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it's just one of those things where nobody wants him to retire, so we just give him something he really likes to do, so he just keeps going.
But what if that was his plan all along?
Oh.
What if he tells everybody, I'm going to retire after this? Because
he's just...
Yeah, but he's like, this is the cushiest job I've ever had. I show up at 7, I go home at 6, and I don't have to go anywhere. This is fantastic. I'm going to ride this train forever.
Exactly. So maybe we'll just get Slow Horses for years and years and years to come now. They'll just keep on with it. Just for the explicit purpose of keeping Gary Oldman from going into retirement.
Exactly.
Also in TV Intel news, we've got the show Butterfly, the spy thriller series that's coming to Prime Video. The trailer for that has been released, and the series begins on August 13th, so not too far away here. After watching it, I was able to kind of cut through the studio's overly verbose synopsis and realized it's basically just FUBAR, but without Arnie, and with a slightly Korean-American twist. But the action looks better, and just to remind you, the show stars Daniel Dae Kim, who you may know from the show Lost, playing the lead character, David Jung, and then we've got Raina Hardesty playing his daughter. I actually really like the trailer, and I kind of wonder if this is going to become sort of a sleeper hit, just because it looks much better executed than FUBAR did. It's got this, it's basically the same sort of story, but executed with better writing. At least just from the trailer, that's what I gleaned.
I would say better writing, better acting, better everything. A much more serious tone, and about 120% less Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. There's a couple moments in it where the daughter really kind of puts her dad in check, and it's actually funny. It's not a pause for laughter. It's actually kind of funny, and they just move it along. And so I'm actually fairly positive about this one. I'm hoping this is something decent to watch to keep us occupied, since we're clearly not getting any spy movies for a while.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the biggest thing about this is going to be that it's not an Arnold Schwarzenegger show. That's all Fubar was. They built a show around Arnie.
Yeah.
And he Arnied it up. And, eight episodes of Arnold Schwarzenegger turns out to be much more than most people can at least people like me can handle. I'm good about 2 hours and I'm done.
Yeah.
So 2 episodes in, I'm like, well, that's enough. Thanks, Arnie. Good job. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, and funny enough, too, we got a second season of Fubar, but then it was immediately canceled after that.
Yep. Like
so
some sort of contractual obligation, right? I appreciate the fact that Netflix is bringing into the fold and letting me do the things, but according to the contract, you have to let me do at least 2 seasons before you can give me the boot. So there you go. I gotta tell you, my Arnold Schwarzenegger is not as good with headphones on. I'm gonna go right out there and say it. So I'm gonna have to plan ahead next time I do that.
Indeed. Speaking of spy movie intel, there is intel for spy movies. It's just not a lot. So there's this movie that's been brewing for years and years and years called $1 Billion Spy. And it's basically been in development hell because it originally starred Armie Hammer. And for obvious reasons, it no longer stars Armie Hammer. But it is now back up and running and currently shooting in Budapest.
Whoa, Budapest.
So, it now stars Russell Crowe and Harry Lottie, who is an actor from the show Industry. And I saw in the article about it, we did get the very first image of them in character, like in a scene. It's not a very interesting picture, but I think they're just trying to get the ball rolling as far as investor interest and that sort of thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The movie is based on the book of the same name by Pulitzer-winning author David E. Hoffman and directed by BAFTA winner Amma Asante, who did A Way of Life. Crowe stars as Tolkachev, who was among the CIA's most invaluable assets during the Cold War. Disillusioned with the Soviet regime, Tolkachev risked his life to pass thousands of pages of top-secret intelligence to the United States. Lottie plays his CIA handler inside Moscow Station. The cast is completed by Claes Bang, Vera Farmiga, Willa Fitzgerald, Tony Goldwyn, Rufus Sewell, and Justin Theroux. So it seems like this has got a good cast going forward now, and they are shooting. It seems like they have some sort of budget if they're shooting in Budapest.
Yeah.
So
should be good.
I'll watch Russell Crowe in a spy movie.
Yeah, I'll watch Russell Crowe try and learn, but ultimately dismantle a Russian accent. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean,
it'll be good fodder for the CIC.
Just because he's going to try and attempt a Russian accent all the way through this, it's going to get reviewed because he's only got 2 choices. He either can try and struggle through. He could try and struggle through a Russian accent like he did with that Greek accent in Thor: Love and Thunder, or he could pull the Connery card.
And just
Australian that bitch up.
That's right.
I just feel like
that would be amazing.
Nobody told Sean Connery what he was going to do, and I feel like Russell Crowe could be that guy. I don't think he is that guy. I think he feels like he's Sean Connery enough for that. To be fair, I think he's a better actor than Sean Connery was. So I think he's going to want the challenge.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he's very big about being an actor, like he's very big on that whole, like putting forth the effort and really diving into almost on an academic,
getting in the role.
Yeah.
But still, it's going to be fun. I don't think we're going to go. I don't think we're going to go full Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with the in and outs. But that's definitely the baseline. He has to be better than. So
that's right. But now, Jason.
Yes.
Bond intel. Yeah, we got some Bond intel to talk about here. Well, before we get to the big one though, we'll talk about this first thing. We've got a new Bond book coming on the horizon called Hurricane Room, and it's not from the usual suspects. It's actually the 3rd and final installment of Kim Sherwood's 00 trilogy, which, for those unaware, Kim Sherwood has written 2 Bond adjacent books for the Ian Fleming estate called Double or Nothing, and the other one, A Spy Like Me, both of which follow the exploits of other 00s, 003, 000, 004 and 009 trying to find James Bond as he's gone missing in those books. Hurricane Room is basically a term that was used in the novel From Russia with Love, which refers to Bond's mental state under extreme duress. Jason, I think I'm going to start saying I'm going to go to my hurricane room now.
Okay. I'll allow it.
I think that's a thing.
Since we are still openly renovating the new undisclosed location, maybe you could just do a change order with the contractor and just have them build you a little hurricane room.
A little hurricane room. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put behind me, as we're talking over an undisclosed digital channel, on the wall behind me, I'm just going to make a sign that says hurricane room that you can read just in the back.
We'll get you a little light of a red hurricane neon, and then you could just flip
That's
the
right.
switch when I know you're going there.
When you know I'm going into extreme duress. Anyway, I digress. In the book, the quote is, Bond went to his hurricane room only when the situation was beyond his control and no other possible action could be taken. So the synopsis for this book reads, in part, Agent 003, Joanna Harwood, has finally found James Bond after nearly 2 years of searching. All she has to do is get him out of Russia alive and convince him he can trust her again. But Bond trusts no one, and he wants revenge on Mora, the monstrous figure at the head of Rattenfanger. However that's pronounced. See, could you let me know? That's Rattenfa with a little umlaut over it, and then Nger. Do you know what umlaut? How do you pronounce vowels with an umlaut over it?
I believe this is Rattenfanger, but
Rattenfanger?
I guess we'll see.
Okay. Okay.
Rattenfanger.
At the head of Rattenfanger, a terrorist organization with links to the past. MI6's 00 section is in pieces. Moneypenny is captured. Oh no! 000 has switched sides. He's just mad that he didn't get an actual number. Anyway.
He's mad that nobody calls him 000. That's what he's mad about.
Exactly.
He thinks that'd be more badass than 000.
Exactly. And all of Rattenfanger's plans or Rattenfanger's plans for hijacking.
How about let's just say Ratzenberger, and we'll call it that. So all of Ratzenberger's plans for hijacking the hyper intelligent network in the West are finally about to be realized. You know that, Nami?
Exactly. The remaining 00s must work together and figure out which of them are still loyal. So that's the idea for this book, which is now slated for release in May of 2026. So still not a whole lot of Bond to chew on until next year. But I'm sure we'll get more little updates about this big thing coming up here that we're going to talk about in a second. But one little footnote, Jason, Amazon's 007 Road to a Million Season 2 comes out August 22nd. Do you have any thoughts about that?
There was a Season 1?
Yeah, that's all I got. There was a Season 1.
Wasn't that the one with Brian Cox?
Yeah. I'm not really willing to talk about it, honestly. It's so bad. So I think it's so not Bond that I'm just like, yeah.
It's just that's completely fair. That's completely fair. I did not even remember this was a thing. And then where you were talking about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think Brian Cox is on that. So he's like, I'm going to go ahead and do this and just do McDonald's voiceovers. I'm good.
Exactly.
Jason Bourne's coming to kill me.
Yeah, it's just, does anybody even care? I mean, they're probably not even going to reference Bond in the voiceover or in anything. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Don't care. Anyway, moving on. So the third and final piece of Bond intel that dropped this week is the big one. It's been revealed that screenwriter, producer, and director Stephen Knight will write the script for the next James Bond film based on the idea by Denis
Villeneuve.
Knight is probably best known for creating, exec producing, and writing the massive hit show Peaky Blinders. He also penned Taboo, C, SAS Rogue Heroes, and The Veil, to name just a few. He also co-created the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? He's got nominations and wins in the BAFTAs, Oscars, Emmys, and just about every other award you can think of. What do we think about this, Jason? I'll toss it to you first.
Well, I mean, he's obviously a TV guy before anything else.
Yes.
But anything I've watched of his, I have been highly impressed with not only the quality of the writing, but the quality of the show. And I am also kind of jazzed by the fact that he has a very strong ability to create really good period product so that you get things that are in the modern era. So I don't know if that's where we're going, but we all know that's where I wish we were going. And so if nothing else, this helps keep that little fire of hope kindled in my heart.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. He is a TV guy, but the TV that he does produce seems to be prestige TV for the most part.
Yes.
And so that gives me high hopes. The fact that Peaky Blinders is a great show. I watched The Veil about a year ago. I forget exactly when that came out, but I thought that was done really well. I like the fact that he's kind of gritty, a little...
Yeah.
He's kind of a darker writer. And so like I kind of dig that. Like I think that'll be interesting. That being said, I do kind of wonder like, you know, and we talked about this a little bit in the episode where we sort of discussed naming Denis
Villeneuve
as the director too, is like, do we really want more darkness in Bond movies given what we've had for the past, 15 years with Daniel Craig? But I'm hoping that this is sort of like gritty in the way that Guy Ritchie is gritty or was gritty in like Ungentlemanly Warfare, where it's like, it is sort of dark. There are some dark moments to it, but there's also moments of humor and that sort of thing. I'm hoping he can help with that. One of the biggest concerns that I've heard on the internet about
Denis Villeneuve.
He's not always, humor doesn't seem to be maybe his strongest suit. And so I'm wondering if Stephen Knight can perhaps help inject some of that just with writing and hopefully help like present those little moments of comic relief so that it's not just dark, gritty, serious all the time, 100%. I feel like Bond needs those moments of levity, if you will.
Well, this is where I sadly must get off the boat with you, Mr. Esslinger.
I
Here we
know.
go. Into the water. Kersploosh!
I know. You like the serious more.
I feel like, nearly 50 years worth of slide whistles and tongue-in-cheek just getting worse and worse and worse as it goes across. I think that cheapens the character and it lessens the story. So I'm okay with having a little bit of humorous moments, and I also agree that Villeneuve is not really known for his beau months, as it were. But I also don't really have a problem with it being a more serious take on James Bond either. I mean, I'd like to see, going back to Guy Ritchie, I'd love to see The Man with Uncle, but with stakes. Sure,
Yeah.
There's some good dialogue and there's some humor in the dialogue, the way it's going, but it's not set pieces that are intended to just be funny.
Right.
And let's face it, that's kind of where Bond ended before Craig. We have to get some kind of funny thing in there.
Yes.
Come on! Let's get ourselves another fat sheriff from Louisiana. I mean, it's... James Bond doesn't need a comical sidekick.
I suppose not. But I do, and this is going to go against everything I've ever said about Spectre, but some of my favorite parts of Spectre are the humorous moments, like during the pre-title sequence when he slides down and falls onto that little couch that just happens to be there when he's in Mexico and just
gets up
and bounces
presses
on.
Off,
yeah.
Just the cuffs.
Yeah. Like that's a good moment for me. And I hope that they retain some of those type of moments despite maybe having a gritty, dark tone. It'd be fun to have just a little bit of that, just enough, just a wink, just nothing too overt, but we'll see. Also, he had I did like the quotes that he had in the Variety story that was about all this. Asked if he felt pressure to deliver on a new Bond film, which will be the first with Amazon. Knight said, I mean, the way I look at it, you've just got to do what you do it as well as you can, and then what else can you do? He added, I'm hoping that being a Bond fan for so many years, that will sort of be imbued into me, and I'll be able to produce something that's the same, but different and better and stronger and bolder. And even though that's just sort of like, I'm going to give it 110% type talk, at the same time, like, the words that he did choose in that quote I like the fact that he said stronger and bolder. I kind of like that. I'm hoping that they really push the studio to allow them to be a little bolder, to not, I'm hoping that they're not hindered by the producers the way that Babs I felt like Babs really hurt some of the writing in the last couple Craig movies. And so I'm hoping Jason just shrugs.
All we can do is see what happens. I mean, to be honest, I'm still 75% Knight sees this all the way through. I'm still 60% that Villeneuve sees this all the way through.
Okay.
Because I know that Villeneuve basically just said, all right, fine, I'll give up all the final cut. I just want to make a James Bond movie. But a guy like him, he's not just a director, he's an auteur. He's got a vision. And you start making him deviate from his vision, he's going to give you the French flag right up the middle finger. And off he goes.
Yeah, that's true.
Off he goes.
That's an excellent point.
So, and how many Bond films were written in committee that we don't know about?
Almost all of them. Right. And most of them are documented as that.
So are we just going to see one that has Knight's name only as a screenwriter?
Probably.
It'll probably be him and Denny, don't get me wrong. But
right.
But is he going to be the principal? Or is it going to shuffle hands, go to script doctors, bounce around back and forth?
There could be all. We're just at the beginning. You're right.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful that we're going to stay that route. And if Amazon gives them the ability to do that,
yeah,
great. But I think the execs are going to have their fingers in it a little too much for the first outing.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't pick other directors like Christopher Nolan and some other people that were involved, at least speculatively.
Yes.
Because none of them are going to go, yeah, I'll do the movie you want me to do.
Right.
So, so we'll see. But,
yeah.
Hope springs eternal. And I'm springing like Tigger here, baby.
One thing that has happened since the news came out is the 007 casting speculation by way of former associates game. It's like, everybody who's ever worked with either one of these guys, if you've worked with Denis Villeneuve,
right?
If you've worked with Stephen Knight, everyone's suddenly assuming that one of those people are going to be Bond now, or a Bond girl. There's been a handful of actors, in particular, people are looking now because of the association with Peaky Blinders and SAS. We've got Jack O'Connell. Jack O'Connell worked on SAS Rogue Heroes. He was also in the recent horror film Sinners. If you don't know, he was like the bad vampire guy. Great actor. Don't know if he's Bond. It's just...
I don't see that at all.
He doesn't come off suave enough for me. I mean, I've seen pictures of him on the internet wearing a tux or whatever, but it's like, I don't know if I see that. But again, this is just playing the, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type thing.
Right.
Another name bandied about was Anurin Bernard, who was in Knight's adaptation of Great Expectations. I looked him up. He feels too small and Tom Holland-esque for my taste. I still think, I know that we have been watching this tiny little man, part of the IMF, and we've enjoyed it, but Bond is a different animal than Ethan Hunt is, and I just feel like Bond needs to be at least 5'10". Just at least 5'10". I'm just saying. I don't know. That's just me, but we'll see. Anyway, and the assumptive frontrunner, Aaron Taylor Johnson, worked with Knight on the thing, A Million Little Pieces. So, the more fuel to the fire for that rumor.
I would also point out that Tom Hardy has worked with Knight on 2 occasions.
Yes.
And Cillian Murphy on 1. And while I still think Tom Hardy would be the best James Bond ever, he may be a little aged out of the part at this point, unless we go for an older, crankier Bond. But Cillian Murphy, man, he's right there in that sweet zone. I know he's tall. He's tall enough for you. You can't get him on the not tall part.
Yeah, but how old is he now? I know he's not
really. No, he looks young. Doesn't really matter.
All right, fair enough.
He looks like a wee baby.
And then one interesting speculation that was sent to our Instagram feed, actually, from a fellow named 007 Islander. He mentioned that Rebecca Ferguson has now not only worked on the Dune movies with
Villeneuve,
but is also currently starring in the Peaky Blinders movie that's in production. But while I'd love to see that, I think that's definitely more wishful thinking. I kind of feel like Rebecca Ferguson would need a pretty big role that actually is has some substance and some, the character would need to have some agency. And that's not exactly Bond's strong suit a lot of the time. But with
Villeneuve.
at the helm, you never know. And I would certainly love to see Rebecca Ferguson in a Bond movie.
Sure. Hey, I'm just throwing this out there, but we're getting a younger Bond, so maybe we need a slightly younger M.
Hey, now there's a shout. That's a good shout right there. I like that idea. I would absolutely watch Rebecca.
She'd be a fine M.
She would be an excellent M, like almost the best M ever.
Sitting behind the big desk,
yes,
with the quilted door, and just
a man can dream.
And of course, if we're going on that wish fulfillment, we obviously have to get Haley Atwell to be Bond, Jamie Bond.
She could be Moneypenny.
No.
She has to be Bond.
No. Rebecca Ferguson could be Moneypenny.
Fair enough. Any other thoughts about this whole night thing?
No. TBD, to be continued, all of those things.
Yeah.
More to come.
Indeed. And that is pretty much everything in the dossier for now. So I guess we'll just...
It was a very thin dossier. Too.
Yeah, very thin, a little short and sweet, but I assure you we will be back with some juicy bits very, very soon. Yes. Well, with that, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jason.
And the CIC will return with more missions, more martinis,
and more mayhem.